The effects of tariffs are naturally a focus for inflation hunters. But in the latest report for the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, the most powerful force has little to do with international trade. Housing and utilities are up 4.4% over a year ago. Compare that to just 2.6% for prices overall. Now, we know that housing tends to lag behind in inflation indexes, and annual inflation in housing has come down a lot since the peaks of 2023. But in recent months, that progress seems to have stalled out, with housing costs still rising much faster than overall inflation. Here's a look at the past 5 years. Prices in general are up about 21% since COVID. Housing is now 29% more expensive, and there's no sign of this flattening out. It's also rising faster than before the pandemic. Before 2022, you have to go all the way back to 2006 to find housing and utilities inflation as steep as it is right now. Having a place to live is a huge component of overall spending. The PCE statisticians put housing and utilities around 18% of the average consumption basket. It weighs even heavier in the other big index, the CPI. This means the cost of shelter can sway the entire index. In the June PCE report, housing tacks on an additional 0.7% to core inflation that is otherwise just a tick above the Fed's target. For the CPI, with its even larger housing share, shelter is responsible for more than half of core inflation. Maybe there is some sign of relief beyond the federal inflation data. One popular stat is the Zillow Observed Rent Index, where we might see rents moderating before it shows up in the PCE or the CPI. But since this kink 3 years ago, the ZORI doesn't show any further leveling off. House prices are imperfectly captured by the official inflation indexes. The most cited private measure shows a bit of a downturn since February. It's something, not a lot to hang your hat on. And house prices are offset by mortgage rates still near a 25-year peak. Recent research from some economists at the Minneapolis Fed suggests that monetary policymakers could simply ignore the housing component of inflation. They argue the central bank's tools are mostly powerless to bring down housing costs, so why risk depressing other parts of the economy? It's a provocative idea when the roofs over our heads appear to be one of the main things propping up inflation.